Good morning. Happy Monday if you're joining this on your Monday morning, and happy any other day if you're joining it on a different day. This is our 30-minute hips and twists flow. So it'll be really nice, hopefully, to wake you up and just sort of shift things around in the body. Hips and twists has maybe a bit of a good ring to it. Good morning. And also just feels good to move around, to open up the hips, to twist through the spine a little bit any time of day. So if you're doing this class a little bit later, maybe after work or on a work break or before bed, hopefully it feels good. I'm just trying to align myself so my eye isn't being blinded by the sun. But what a nice place to be, right in the sunshine. So we'll give it about a minute or so. And if you are joining either right now or after the fact, then you might want to grab yourself a block or a pillow and maybe some music if you'd like. And just taking a few moments to get yourself set up. And when you're ready, we will begin on our backs. So a nice comfortable position on your back. You could take your legs long, or you might take your feet wide onto the mat and then let your knees knock in towards each other. This is a nice, gentle resting pose, just allowing the knees to touch so the legs are holding each other up. Taking a moment or two to settle the shoulders, taking the arms wherever comfortable. You might close the eyes if they're not already closed. And just start to feel your body supported by the floor. Taking deep breaths in through the nose. It might feel nice to sigh it out through the mouth. Inhaling again, filling all the way up. And exhaling to let go. Sending your breath a little bit deeper down into the belly. And then sending it a little bit deeper into the hips. And recognizing that if you are practicing in the morning, or if you had a long day of sitting or maybe standing or just being in one spot, that the hips might feel a little bit stiff, a little bit tight. So just take everything at your own pace. Move gently and slowly. Take another big breath in. And let it all out. And then if the legs are long, go ahead and bend the knees, take your feet onto the mat. And start to drop your knees from side to side. And gently swaying right and left. A few gentle windshield wipers, getting a bit of movement into the hips and the low back. Allowing the movement to be as fast or as slow as you'd like. Just try and keep it connected to the breath. Hello, Bonnie. And then bringing your knees back up through center, walk them in a little bit closer to about hip width apart. And then we'll take the right ankle and we'll cross it over top of the left thigh. So as though you're about to thread the needle, but keeping your arms relaxed. So wherever they are, maybe out wide or resting on your body somewhere. And take a big inhale here. And as you exhale, start to lift the left foot, feeling that stretch through the outer right hip. On your next inhale, the left foot gently lowers back down to the mat. And as you exhale, the legs fall over to the left for a little twist. We'll do that a few times with the breath. Inhaling, the legs come back up. And as you exhale, the left foot lifts. Feel that stretch in the outer right hip. As you inhale, the leg falls back down. And as you exhale, twist, legs drop to the left. Just staying with that rhythm at your own pace. Inhaling, the legs all the way back up. Exhale to the little thread, the needle, keeping your arms relaxed. Inhale, the left foot comes down. Exhale, gentle twist to the left. Let's do one more time, just like that. Moving with the breath, feeling the body slowly open. Next time your legs fall to the left, keep them there. Try to keep the right foot planted on the mat onto the floor, so the sole of the right foot is gently pressing down. So you're getting a twist, but you're also feeling a big stretch through the outer right hip. If it's too much, you can slide your feet a little bit closer to the end of the mat, away from the upper body. If you'd like a little more sensation, you can slide your legs a little bit closer towards the upper body. And then gently reaching your right knee up towards the sky, if that feels all right. Pressing into the sole of the right foot. Noticing how that sensation gets a little bigger through the right hip and glute. Keeping the shoulders heavy, maybe the eyes are still closed. Take one more round of breath here. On your next inhale, the legs come all the way back up. Uncross them, take your feet as wide as you'd like, and allow your knees again to fall right and left. And then the legs draw back up through center, and we'll take the other side. So the right foot stays planted, the left ankle crosses over the right thigh. Arms stay heavy where they are. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, start to lift that right foot off of the mat just so that you feel the stretch through the left hip. Inhale, the right foot lands back down. And as you exhale, legs fall to the right. Your inhale pulls the legs back up. And as you exhale, the right foot lifts. Slow and steady with the breath. Inhale, the right foot drops. Exhale, the legs fall to the right to twist. Inhale, pulls the legs back up through center. Exhale, right foot lifts. Last time through. Well, we'll fall to the right and then we'll move one more time through. Just at your own pace. And gently waking up the body. Taking those deep breaths. So next time your legs fall to the right, keep them there. Again, try to keep the left foot planted. If it's a little bit too intense, slide your feet a bit further away from the upper body. If you'd like more sensation, bring the legs a little closer. And then again, you can play with reaching that left knee up towards the sky, pressing your left foot into the floor. Keeping your shoulders heavy, feeling a little twist, but a big stretch for the outer left hip. And maybe also feeling this through the front of the right hip. Take one more round of breath. And on your next inhale, start to bring the legs back up through center. Uncross them. This time, pull the knees into the chest, grab hold of the knees and start to draw big circles with the knees. Just moving them around, allowing the feet to flop around. We'll switch directions of the circles. Then you can either roll over to one side or take a gentle rock up into a tabletop. Oh boy, that sun is bright. So crawling onto all fours, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and then we'll move through a little bit of cat-cow just with the breath. And just warming up the spine. And breath is smooth and steady, so movement is smooth and steady. Inhaling to lift the chest, drop the belly. Exhaling to round the spine. And so you can stay with this movement if that feels good, if that's what you want this morning. Or you can take any other movement that feels good. Maybe you start to make circles with the upper body. Maybe you wag your tail side to side as you gaze over your shoulder. Maybe you allow the elbows to bend. Really anything goes right here. So just let it feel good. If you find a spot that needs a little bit of extra attention, you're welcome to stay and breathe into that spot. And don't worry about what you look like at all. Just feel the body and the breath working together, getting to know each other. Start to come to stillness in the center, so you're back in your tabletop. And then we'll keep the right leg bent and start to draw circles with that right knee. Moving it around a couple times in one direction. And try to keep the upper body still. And then we'll switch directions of that circle. I should have worn my sunglasses. I hope you're all enjoying a little bit of sunshine. And then we'll step the right foot up nice and wide to the edge of the mat. So heel in, toes out. Walk the hands as far forward as you'd like as you reach your hips forward and down. And then on your inhale, start to roll to the edge of the right foot and reach your right arm up for a twist. As you exhale, bring it back down. So right foot presses down, right hand lands. And we'll take a couple more. Inhale to roll open and twist. Exhale to bring it down. Inhale again, open up and twist. And exhale, take it down. This time, inhale, roll open and hold. Reaching up through the fingertips, rolling the right shoulder back, making sure that you're not popping that left shoulder forward. Think about drawing the left shoulder blade down the back. As you breathe in, feel expansive across the chest. Take one more inhale. And exhale, bring it on down, lower the right foot and start to pull the hips back. We're going to be turning towards the left, so towards the long edge of the mat. Placing the sole of the right foot flat, so that pinky toe edge of the foot in line with the top of the mat. Walking your hands out, they're probably off of your mat, but about shoulder width apart. And with an inhale, the left arm reaches up. And with an exhale, the left arm threads through. We're going to take a couple more like that. Inhale, reach the left arm up. And exhale, reach it through under the right towards the right toes. Last time like that, reach up. And through. And then go ahead and drop your left shoulder all the way down to the mat. You might keep your hips lifted or you might sink them towards that left heel. Left toes can stay tucked if you'd like. Head might rest on the floor or onto your block if the floor feels far away. And you might reach the right arm long or take it behind you, wrapping it around for the left hip. Really, anything goes. Take a few big breaths wherever you are, feeling that stretch through the inner right thigh, down the back of the left shoulder, maybe into the neck a little bit. And start to plant that right hand down roughly in front of your face if it's not already there. And as you inhale, reach the left arm up. As you exhale, stay with me, turn to the back of the mat. So you're facing the back of the mat. The left toes are going to pivot all the way over to the right. And then the left knee will bend, sliding it behind the right. So both feet are wide, legs are crossed. Start to reach the hips back. Maybe they land onto the mat. If this is too much, so from the front it looks like this, but you're still facing the back of the mat, feet are wide, knees are stacked. If this is too much, Legs can be crossed, totally fine. So I will stay facing the back of the mat so that we're all in the same space. So either knees stacked one on top of the other, feet wide, or legs crossed. I'm just going to fold over the legs, take a few deep breaths. Rounding through the back, letting the head hang heavy. And start to walk your hands over towards the right side. Keep the right hand planted. Inhale to reach the left arm up, little side stretch. As you exhale, walk the hands forward through your fold all the way over to the left. The left hand plants, right arm reaches up. And let's take one more each side. Over to the right. Feeling length down the side body. Noticing how that sensation moves around in the hips as you crawl forward. Coming back to center, folding over the legs. And then sitting up tall. So from wherever you are, we're going to take that right leg straight. Keeping the left foot onto the mat so the left knee stays bent. So you're in a seated twist facing the back of the mat. Hug the left knee in with the right arm. Bring the left hand behind you. Sit up tall and gaze over your shoulder. Maybe now you're looking at your screen. Keeping the hips level. Sitting up tall so the spine is long. Big breaths up and down the spine. Take one more inhale. Exhale and twist. And then on your next inhale, start to unwind. You're turning to the long edge of the mat. The right hand will plant towards the top of the mat. Roll onto the edge of the right foot and the right hip, and then reach up. Press into the sole of the left foot. So you're sort of in a side plank here, facing the long edge of the mat. Lifting the hips high, squeezing the right side of the body as you lengthen the left. Take one more big breath in. And as you exhale, the left hand plants. You can either step back into a downward dog or move through a little flow, coming into your plank, lowering down to the mat, lifting your chest, and then meeting in downward facing dog. Toes tuck under, hips lift high. Take a big pedal out here in your downward dog. Move as much or as little as you need to. And then come to stillness. Starting to walk your feet nice and wide so you have a big wide base. Your feet could be as wide as the mat. Feeling the weight start to shift out of the wrists. Press your hips up high. And then take your right hand, start to reach towards your left foot. So the hand might still stay on the mat for a little more support. You can reach towards the foot as you twist and gaze under your left arm. Or you can grab the shin or the ankle. Try grabbing from the outside. As you gaze under your left arm, if you've got a hold of your ankle or your foot, you might encourage a little more twist in the spine. Keep the hips reaching up and back. And then start to slide the right hand back to where it was, and we'll switch sides. So grip the mat firmly with the right fingertips, and then slide the left hand towards the right foot. Maybe it stays on the floor as you twist. Maybe you can grab your shin or your ankle or your foot. You can have a soft bend in the knees. If you've got a hold of something, you might encourage a little bit more twisting as you gaze underneath of the right arm. Getting into the backs of the legs. Slide that left hand back to where it should be. And then lower the knees down. So you're back in your tabletop. Let's try that all on the other side. So starting with hip circles on the left. Draw big circles with that left knee. A couple times in one direction. Keeping the upper body still. Switching directions if you haven't already. Maybe noticing how this side feels. Maybe a little different than the first one. That is totally normal. And then start to step your left foot up towards the top of your mat to get nice and wide. Heel in, toes out. Walk your hands as far forward as you'd like, keeping the right hand planted. Start to inhale, roll to the edge of the left foot. Peel your left arm open as you lift the chest. And as you exhale, bring the foot down and the hand down. Smooth and steady with the breath. Starting to open up on this side. Hopefully feeling good, moving slowly, breathing deeply in the morning, or really whatever time of day you're doing this. Take one more like that. And then next time you inhale, reach up and hold, rolling to the edge of the left foot, pulling that right shoulder back a little so the right shoulder blade slides down the back. Opening through the right hip, feeling that pressure in the left. And then slowly bring the left hand down, the foot down as you pull the hips back. Turn to face the long edge of the mat. So right toes can tuck under for a little more support. Press into the edge of the left foot. Walk your hands underneath of your shoulders. With an inhale, the right arm reaches up this time. And as you exhale, thread it underneath of the left. Couple more. Inhale to reach. And exhale, slide it through. One more time. Reach up. And exhale to get under. Dropping the right shoulder down. And maybe you rest your head on your left hand. You can keep your hips high or you can sink them back towards the right heel. Maybe the right toes stay tucked under. The left arm can be long here. Or you can wrap it around behind you. The options are really endless, so just do what feels good for you. Take a few big breaths. Resting the weight of the upper body on the right arm. Feeling that stretch through the shoulder blade, the neck, and the upper back. And then bring the left hand down in front of the face. Big breath in, reach the right arm up. And as you breathe out, plant it down. We're turning again to face the back of the mat. So this time the right toes will turn all the way to the left side. The left knee will bend and scoot it behind the right. So the feet are wide. As you pull the hips back, maybe they land onto the floor. Again, if this is too much, make your way into a cross-legged seat. And still feel that sensation through the outer hips. Hands are forward as you fold over the legs. Head hangs heavy. Take a few breaths right here. And then start to walk your hands over towards the left side, planting the left hand down, inhaling the right arm up and over. Exhale, come back through your fold, walking the hands all the way over to the right, reaching left arm up and over. One more time each side. With the breath, and just noticing how it feels to move at your own pace. Nobody's rushing you. Coming back to your forward fold once you've evened it out. And then sitting up tall. This time we'll take the left leg long, right foot to the outside of the left leg. Maybe we'll just see a little better on this side. As you hug the knee in with your left arm, right hand behind you, and twist. Relax those shoulders down, create space for the neck. Use your inhales to lengthen and your exhales to twist. Feel that rhythm. Feel the tiny movement as you inhale, sit up taller. As you exhale, gently twist. Slowly begin to unwind. Left hand plants somewhere towards the top of the mat. Roll to your left hip. Press into the sole of the right foot and the edge of the left. And then reach up into this little modified side plank. Lifting the hips, little squeeze of the left side body as you press into the right foot, lengthen down the right side. And slowly bring the right hand down. Either step back into plank and move through a flow, or come right back into your downward dog. Once you're in your downward facing dog, we'll take the feet nice and wide as the mat. Push the hips high, feeling the weight come out of the hands a little bit. Maybe the heels can reach a little closer to the earth, but it's okay if they don't touch. Start to walk your hands towards your feet. Heels turn in slightly, toes turn out as you lower the hips into a squat. Moving around a little or a lot if you'd like. Lifting the heels and the toes. Maybe you find a block and you gently rest the hips onto that block if it feels a little too intense for you. You can choose. Maybe you come into stillness, lengthening the spine, possibly hands to heart. Just take a few big breaths here, pressing into the outer edges of the feet, lengthening the spine. Eyes can be closed if you'd like. Take one more big breath in. Sigh it out. And then bring the hands down. We're lowering to a seat. And just dropping the hips to the mat, taking the feet wide. Start to drop your knees from side to side. Again, those windshield wipers, right and left. We'll take the knees over towards the right. Sit up tall and start to turn the upper body towards the back of the mat. Walking your hands out as far forward as you'd like. The left hip is lifted, totally fine. I'll just move so you can see me a little bit better. Good. So you could be somewhere towards the side, maybe off of the mat, maybe completely turning to face the back of the mat, maybe lowering down to forearms. That feels all right. Letting the head hang heavy. Feeling this probably down the left side body, in the front of the left hip. Take one more big breath in. And a big breath out. And start to lift the upper body if you've lowered. And then turn to face the front of the mat again. We'll keep the left leg bent. So bringing the heel towards the left hip, taking the right leg long, and getting those hips roughly level onto the mat. And start to walk your hands behind you as you lift the chest. Hopefully feeling this again through the front of the left hip. Hands can stay on the floor for support, or if everything feels okay in the left knee and the hips can stay relatively level, then you might lower down to forearms or all the way to the floor. You might relax the head if that feels all right for the neck, or you can keep the chin tucked a little to lengthen through the neck. Breathing into that left leg, the front of the hip and the knee. It's normal to also feel this in the ankle and the shin. Taking your time if you've lowered to start to come all the way back up. We'll take the feet wide on the mat again, and then windshield wiper, knees side to side. We just have to even that out on the other side. So this time the knees drop over to the left. Upper body begins to lift as you turn to face the back. Maybe the hands walk out off of the mat on a bit of an angle. Or maybe you turn to face the back of the mat and get into a deeper twist with the hands either on the floor or a block for support, or maybe the forearms lower. And you might let the head hang heavy again. Noticing how this side might feel much different than the first one. Stay with your breath. Try to soften through the hips, through the legs. And Slowly begin to lift the upper body. If you've lowered, turn to face the top, keeping the right leg bent. This time we'll take the left leg long, bring the right heel to the outside of the hip. Knee can be as wide as you'd like here. Try to keep the top of your foot to the mat. And then hands walk behind you for support as you lift the chest up. Again, maybe staying here for a few breaths, noticing how it feels in the right knee. Keeping the knee down and the hips relatively level. You might start to lower down to the forearms, just one at a time, nice and slow and gentle. Sometimes I like to bring my hands to the base of the spine for a little more support here. Maybe dropping the head back or keeping a little tuck of the chin. Feeling the front of the right hip lengthen as you reach your right knee just a little closer to the mat. A little back bend as you lift your chest. If you've lowered, slowly start to lift back up. We'll take windshield wipers one more time, gently taking the feet onto the mat, knees fall side to side. And then go ahead, when you're ready, make your way onto your back. You might splay open wide here. You might take a bit of movement or a final posture. Maybe the hips are feeling ready for a happy baby. Or maybe you want to bring the soles of the feet together, knees open wide. Whatever feels good to you. Maybe you want to take a final twist. Whatever it is, just take these last few moments for you, or your body. And then if and when you feel ready to settle into stillness, just enjoy. Enjoy some stillness after that nice flow, noticing how you might feel a little bit more open, a little bit more aware of the sensations that are coming up in the body. Taking your time here, take as long as you need right where you are. And I hope that you can head into your day with that openness, with that awareness for yourself and for others. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, or whenever you join me. And I hope to move with you again very soon. Thank you.